Welcome to another episode of This Is Anything Goes. Today we are going to be changing the suspension on the Toyota Alphard. Alright, so before we get started, make sure you hit the like button if you like this style of video and hit subscribe and the bell button. Alright, because every subscription counts. Alright, so let's get to it. Okay, so before we start this project, let's have a look at what we have. Alright. Okay, so I have gotten the Gap Super Series. These are the OEM replacement, black in color. They are not the red color ones. Alright, the red color ones are the either the adjustables or the heavy duty series, but I've gotten the black one as OEM replacements. Okay, besides that, I've also gotten the other stuffs like the rubber mounts and all bushings. No bushing, bearings. Sorry, bearings. From Mountain King. All these are from Mountain King except for the gaps, the suspension itself, the absorber itself. Alright, so let's have a look at what we have. Okay, so for the front, we have the front absorber shaft booth. You need 2 of these. Alright, this is for the front. And then we have this for the rear. This is for the front. This is the rubber seating at the bottom of the suspension. So roughly explaining it now. Later I'll show you visually where all these things goes. Alright, so that you need 2. Then we have the absorber mount, the rubber mount. You need 2 of those. Of course, we will need the absorber bearings. Alright, you need 2 of these as well. And we will have the cover. Alright, this is the absorber cover. You need 2 of these as well. And you have the absorber. Alright, these are the front absorbers. So those are all the parts for the front suspension. And for the rear suspension, we will have this upper rubber bush. You need 2 of this. And then we have the there's 4 pieces here, so it goes up to the absorbers bottom and top. Later I'll show it to you. Alright, it has 4 pieces, 2 of each is different ones. Okay, and then we have the absorber cover. Then we have the absorber cover, alright? And we have the absorbers. Alright, so the first thing that you need to do obviously is you need to jack the car up. Make sure you have an A stand to secure the car. Alright, so what I'm doing is I'm having the A stand. And then I also have the jack over here as well, just for safety reasons. Alright, 2 is better than 1. And obviously you need to remove the tire. Once you have removed the tire, to remove the rear absorber is actually quite simple. Alright, as you can see, this is the rear absorber. There is a nut over here and a nut over here on the bottom here. Alright. Okay, so these are both size 17mm. You need to loosen this. Then you need to come up to the top here. Put your seat away. Alright, so you have access to this. And you have a little notch over here where you can insert your pry tool. And you pry it open. Alright, you see this rubber boot here. Remove the rubber boot. You have access to this. You will need a size 6 hex key over here. Okay, and you will need a size 17mm. Okay, so you need the size 17mm. Put it higher up, and this one you put it a bit lower down. Alright, then what you do is you squeeze it. Bye. Okay, this will loosen it. Okay, once it's loosened, you can remove the top part and you can remove the bottom part. That's how you take the rear suspension out. Okay, and that's how we remove the rear suspension, the rear absorber. Pretty simple. Alright, so we have this which was attached to it. Inside is some rubber piece that we don't really need. Okay, so how do I know that this suspension is short? One, you can see there's a lot of oil leaks. Alright, there's a lot of oil stains around it. As you can see, it's leaking. Alright, and the best way to test is you push it all the way in, and as you can see, it doesn't come back up. Or it does, but very slowly. Alright, let's have a look at the new one. Okay, it seems to be the same height, which is good. Okay. You can see that this is coming out much faster. Yeah. Yep. So this is new. Alright, it's from Gap. Okay, and we'll be installing it, and installing it is the same as the opposite direction. So let me show it to you. Okay, I'll move this aside. Okay, so a breakdown on how you need to assemble the rear suspension. There's only a couple of parts. So the first thing you need is this rear absorber mounting bush. So there's two of these, which is this and these two. Alright, so this is for the other side. Okay, you have these two, and then you have this cover. Alright, obviously the old cover still looks okay on the outside, but you need to look at the inside. There is a bush. Okay, not sure if you can see it. There's a bushing inside. So this looks very dirty, and yeah, why not? It doesn't cost that much, so I'm changing that. Okay. Yeah. Music. Yeah. Okay, so let's assemble it. First, you need to take out the nut here. So the absorber comes with a top bush as well, but I'm using the one that I purchased from Mountain King because at least it has a metal support here, whereas this is just hardened rubber. Alright, so over time this is most likely going to break. Metal is better because the original one is also made of metal. Alright, so this is closer to original. Alright, so this one and this one. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to put in the lower bush into the cover, just like that. Put this in. Okay, and then for this one, this is actually on the car body, but basically you have it here and then you tighten it like how we loosened it earlier. Alright, so that the car body is in between here, and this is firmly on the mounted to the car body. Okay, and that's all on the rear suspension. Pretty simple, right? Okay, so let's do it. Okay, once that side is done, we will tighten it, but let's leave it loose first. Let's go to the top. Okay, so on the top, you have this and this, and this is the original. This cups on top. Alright, meaning that what you do is, okay, you might need to align this whole thing to be inside. Make sure it's not sitting outside, alright, so that this is centered. So just give it a little bit of wiggle. Okay, that's in, that's good. Then we'll put this on top, dish side facing downwards. And then this is the original nut, let's use the new one, alright? Okay, once you are reaching towards the end, alright, when you feel that it's a bit tighter, okay, just put it like that and then just scissor it just for that final tightness. Okay, that's tight. Now we will tighten the bottom. Alright, 17 with 17. I almost forgot. Put this one back. And then put this one back. Done for rear. So the other side is the same, no difference, alright? Okay, so now that we have done the rear absorbers, it's time for the front absorbers. Okay, so on this car, which is a Toyota Alphard, it's a bit more difficult, alright, because the mount for the front absorbers are pretty hidden. Alright, you see one, okay, let me see if I can focus it over there. Okay, you see one bolt here, one bolt here, and one more bolt over here. Alright, and the space to reach it is quite tight. Alright, so what I do is that I will use a breaker bar. Alright, I'll use a breaker bar with a size 14mm to loosen it up, and then I will wiggle my way in with a ratchet to take it out. Okay, so once that is done, you will need to actually loosen this nut here, this nut here, and this nut here, these three nuts. Then you have another one more at the back here, and then one more over here. Okay, so let's see, this is for the stabilizer bar link. Alright, you just need to unbolt this and then just move it aside. This is to hold the brake line as well as the ABS line, and this is to hold the brake line. This is your camber bolt and this is your regular bolt. Alright, so using a breaker bar is possible, but if you have air powered tools like me, alright, which is an air compressor and an air gun, alright, it actually helps. That's what I did for this side. Okay, so let's remove the absorber, and then I will tell you how to break down the absorber. Alright, okay, so what we have here is one absorber that is just removed from the car, and that one was done yesterday. Alright, that's the new absorber. Okay, so as you can see, the rubber boot on the new one is all intact. The old one is just like spaghetti. Alright, it's brittle and it's broken. Alright, it's disconnected from here, and the what you call this bump stopper is already broken as well. You can see that. Yeah, you can see that it's broken. It should be bigger than this. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so the absorber bearing is stuck as well. It doesn't move. It's supposed to be able to move. Yep. Basically, just like I explained earlier on the driver side, this is the passenger side. So I'll be replacing every single thing over here except for the springs. Alright, so to remove the springs, you will need something like this. Alright, which is a coil spring compressor. Alright, what you need to do is you need to actually put it as close to the top as possible, compress it over here, and then one more on the other side, in which you will compress it over here to here. Alright, okay, so once you have the spring compressed, you will need to actually remove this bolt, and it uses a size 19 mm. Alright, so we have this broken bearing. This broken stuff. Springs, yeah. Okay, let's have a look at this. Okay. So there's no rebound in this, it's definitely gone. Alright, this absorber is gone. Okay, so let's have a look at the old absorber parts and the new one. So it's actually arranged in such an order that this is the nut on top, this is the washer, and these two goes inside here. Okay, so you can see that the old absorber mount is already short. You can see it moving here. Alright, so this is gone. Compared to a new one, you can see there's no gap here as well. Alright, and it's tight, nice and tight. Okay, so we'll be using these two, and then this, and then this is the infamous absorber bearing, and it is short. It's gone. Okay, the new one is here. Alright, then we have the cover, the rubber boot. It's gone as well, as in pieces, as you can see. Alright, so what I'll do is that I will salvage back the metal plate here, if I can get it out. Okay, I'm gonna need a screwdriver to push it out, but you get what I mean. And this is what the new one looks like actually. Alright, very good. Alright, so I'll salvage the metal plate here and put it over here. This is the interesting part. This is the bump stopper. Alright, but it's missing more than half of it. Alright, the old one is missing more than half of it. Wow. Okay, this is the springs. I'm reusing it, so probably I'll just give it a wash. Then for the absorber, like I showed you just now, it has no rebound. See, it doesn't come back out. There's no rebound to it, and it's a bit hard to pull as well. And if I look at it, okay, you can see that there's discoloration over here, meaning that it's most likely exposed to heat or something. Yeah, this is gone. Okay, time to assemble. Okay, so we have already assembled back the passenger side front absorber. So a few things to note, alright, is that when you compress the spring, make sure you compress enough, else you have the same problem as me, whereby the spring was already unloaded a bit, as in it sprung up a bit. So trying to compress that was a bit difficult. I had to use the air compressor, and I actually spoiled the thread on my spring compressor. If you see over here, it has actually it's supposed to look something like this, but it has become like this. Okay, it has actually eaten the thread a bit on both the spring compressor. Okay, but the most important thing is when you assemble it back, make sure the spring sits in here correctly. If it does not, what you can do is you can assemble the whole thing, then put in the spring compressor again, compress it, and then move it. Alright, and then you have the notch over here. Alright, over here. Alright, make sure that's in place as well, so that your bottom rubber is in the correct position. Top, not so important. Main thing is that once you have the bushing over here, alright, the white one, alright, once you have that in, you put in this, and then the metal plate, which is this metal plate, and then in between the metal plate and the absorber mount, alright, you can't see it, but there is a absorber bearing over there. Okay, once you're over there, okay, what we have here is the, okay, underneath, inside here, below this nut, there is the thick washer that I was showing you just now. Then you bolt it in, and then you just cover this. Alright, okay, so it's time to put it back into the car, which is the same way as how you take it out. Okay, bonus. This is useless, so I'm changing this as well. So to change this is very simple. Size 14, take it out, put in new one, and just bolt it back. Okay, so this does not have a difference between left or right. This is just a front suspension link. Alright. Okay, let's do a comparison. Okay, new one, very tight. Old one, not sure if you can hear that. That short. It's soft, but at least there's no sound. But this is gone. Okay, let's put in the new one. Alright, that's the end of the video. As usual, I hope you learned something from this. If you don't have the tools or the capability to actually do this DIY, at least you know the amount of work needed when it comes to changing the absorber on your car. So this is done on a Toyota Alphard, but it's similar to any other cars as well. I've done it on my Inspira, aka Lancer 08, it's the same. I've done it on the Myvi, it's the same. I've done it on my Proton Putra, which is a Mitsubishi Mirage that is about 20 years old. It's also the same. Alright, so basically you have done it once on a car, it's similar on any other car. So knowledge learned is not knowledge lost over time. Alright, okay, so let's talk a bit about the time it took for this DIY. Okay, I started on a Thursday, I ended on the next Monday, so that's about Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 5 days. Alright, but in actuality, it only took me about, say, 4 hours to actually do this DIY. It's just that I start and stop in between. Alright, the rear absorbers was the easiest. That took me about 1 hour for both sides. That was easy. The front one is a bit more complicated. One, it is in a very tight spot, so it takes a while to remove the bolts and nuts. Second is that the compression of the springs took a while as well, because it's a bit tough and tight. Okay, and also the first time, which was not recorded when I was disassembling the the driver side, absorber. I did not compress the spring. All right, I thought, heck, you know, shortcut. So that was a bit of a chaotic, because the moment the nut came out from the absorber, the entire absorber just sprung open. I wish I was recording that. It was spectacular in the sense that the body of the absorber was on one end and the mount was on the other end of the car porch. All right, everything was all over the place. Okay, now let's talk a bit about the cost of this. All right, all in all, it costs about 1,700 ringgit, which is roughly about 400 plus US dollars for all the parts that I've shown you in this video. All right, from the absorber itself to the mounts to the bushings to the rubber stopper and all. All right, yeah, it's about 1,700, so it's a bit high price, but it's actually quite cheap as well if you consider aftermarket parts that might cost a lot more. Okay, so why did I not go for original Toyota absorbers but instead went for this Gap Super Series? Okay, one, the main thing is cost. All right, the original absorbers for Toyota is a bit more costly. All right, but at the same time, I would like to try a different kind of absorber as well. Okay, but I maintain the springs because I like the comfort that this spring gives. If I were to change it to an aftermarket springs, I might get a lower ride. It looks better, but I might have problem going through bumps or going into car parks. Okay, or the ride might be not as comfortable. And as I said, this is a family car, so performance is definitely not in the thought whenever I'm doing anything on this car. All right, I've seen a lot of people who are asking about adjustables or coilovers for an Alphard, which they are using it to carry their family. All right, some after they install it within the next couple of weeks they remove it as well because their family members are complaining. All right, it is a family car, so think about that before you actually change to adjustable. All right, because no matter cheap or expensive or however at once the adjustable absorbers are, it is meant for performance, not comfort. How do I know? I've used different types of adjustables before. My Inspira is using a BC Racing BR series. My Putra was using a Tian, I forgot which model, it's been a couple of years, and my brother's Neo is using Zerwand absorbers. All right, so I think based on experience, I can tell you clearly, adjustable absorbers are never comfortable. All right, it may be comfortable for the driver once he got used to it, but the moment your passenger sits in, that's it. They will have a butt pain. Either they'll tell you or they'll keep quiet and be polite about it. All right, but yeah, that's one thing about adjustables. All right, okay, so I think that's all that I got to say about this. Yeah, that's all I got to say. So if you like this video, hit the like button. If you dislike it, you can always hit that, but leave us a comment on how to improve further. All right, and if you have not done so, please hit the subscribe button. I know only like 1-2% of you guys are subscribed, so every subscription counts. It tells me that I'm doing a good job, or probably tell me that you guys are out there watching and is interested in seeing my videos. All right, and also don't forget, after you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button so you get notified of my future uploads. All right, until the next video, see ya.